I got into that mode of that zone, if you want to call it, and I couldn't get out, you know, and I apologized to Tex after the game. And I didn't. Sorry about the triangle, Tex.
For him. MJ, crossover move. Double hand power slam. Going in the corner, goes inside to Michael. Great fake, MJ put it up, and he got fouled in the foul. Absolutely, Michael up in his face, and that time to Luke. He likes that spot, couldn't get it. Michael with the offensive rebound. He'll take the baseline jump, and it'll fall in. Finally stayed in the jar.
This is ugly, but it was a close call.
8 points for Michael Jordan. And
some misses, and that's how they get their offense going.
Leitner blocked from behind by Jordan.
I wasn't worried. I just think that we had to prove ourselves.
Jordan on the crossover, squeezing his way in. What a move! Slight from Longley has returned. Brian Williams out on fouls. Luke is playing with 5. Jordan. Oh, what a...
MJ. Oh, he did it! Michael shakes the... Really in gear and that they're playing well. Here he goes.
Tom Waddle.
The rivalry between the Bulls and Heat resumed early in the regular season. It was just the 4th game of the year for the world champs, but their first against a legitimate playoff team. The Bulls started slowly, but closed the first half with a 23-6 run, capped off by this unbelievable sequence involving Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan.
On top, Scottie. 4-3. Yes! What a dagger! Michael! This will count! Yes! 6 quick ones!
The Bulls led by 4 at halftime, and in the second half it was vintage Michael. MJ scored 24 of his game-high 50 points after the break and added another play to the list of his all-time best.
MJ, great move, baseline hangs off the... Yes! Got it, counted, and he fouled! What a show by Michael!
Jordan's heroics cast a shadow over Alonzo Mourning's performance, 33 points and 19 rebounds, but it was the Bulls holding on for the 106-100 win. The second meeting of the season was 1 week later, at the United Center. It was barely a contest, as Tony Kukoc had one of his best shooting efforts of the season, hitting 11 of 14 field goal attempts and scoring 26 points. On the other side, Tim Hardaway had a poor night from the field, connecting on just 2 of his 10 shots. When the final buzzer sounded, the Bulls were easy winners, 103-71. Less than a month later, Miami returned to the United Center, but the outcome was much different. Unlike the previous meeting, it was the Heat who led most of the way, although they never built an insurmountable lead. MJ led the comeback effort for the Bulls in the fourth quarter and finished with a game-high 37 points. But the Heat would hand the Bulls their first home loss of the season when Dan Marley hit a clutch three-pointer in the closing seconds. The final score, Heat 83, Bulls 80.
The one thing that we put on the board tonight was that you got to expect the win here. If you don't come in here expecting to win and playing a good game, then you're going to be beat before you hit the floor. So I just sort of sensed the guys were right. They were right to play a game tonight.
The Bulls would hook up with the Heat one final time down in Miami the last week of the regular season. The Bulls were after win number 70, but the Heat simply outplayed the world champs. Miami held the Bulls to 9 points in the second quarter and would lead by 13 at the break. In his first game against the Bulls as a member of the Heat, Jamal Mashburn had 23 points and 10 rebounds. Miami wound up winning 102-92 and evened the season series at 2 games apiece. Well, here is the season in review and riding. Again, the Bulls taking the first 2 games, but played within a week of one another early on in the regular season. That was back in November. Then the Miami Heat got their first win, and then on April 16th in Chicago, I should say in Miami, the Heat won again. So, Norm, could we take anything out of the fact that the 2 Bulls wins over the Heat came back in November within the first 2 weeks of the season, while Miami's came towards the end of the season. Might Miami have a little mental edge right there?
I don't think. I remember talking to the guys last week, and they were really excited about, especially Scotty, about playing the New York Knicks. And sure enough, it's not going to happen. It's going to be Miami. Any concerns on your part that this team won't have the fire in their belly to start tonight's game?
I don't think so. The only thing about it, Lou, is that, you know, sometimes when you're off, you forget how much the battle is or what it's like in the fray, and you're not used to that contact, that constant brutalization. Your body's active, and you feel good about it, and it just takes you a little bit to, oh yeah, that's what it's like again. You're back in the fray. There's nothing that can replace a game, and that's what we'd like to emphasize with them. Even though we can simulate it, we can't produce what Miami does.
Is that the key against a team like Miami, being prepared, not only physically, but mentally, for that rough, in-your-face type of defense that Pat Riley's teams always bring to games?
Yeah, what they like to do is you know, as a viewer would identify, is that they're in your body, and they use their forearms. And so if you're holding the ball over your head, they're in your arms, and your passes then become, you know, interrupted because suddenly the ball's going down instead of going where it's supposed to be going. So we have to teach our players how to really do things short and crisp, and our execution's good. Now they try and make you survive by getting all over you so that you have to dribble the ball to survive. So when a pass and cut game, which is really our feature, our strongest feature, is pretty much eliminated. They just want Michael to be the one that has to go one-on-one, or Pippen the one that has to go one-on-one, and make all the offense be created from guys having to put their head down. Then collectively they can defend you.
This Miami.
Well, I think that they feel confident they can beat us, you know, and we don't feel that we're invulnerable at all, by all means. I mean, I think we feel that we are vulnerable if we don't play our type of basketball. So I think we go into fact knowing that that's the case. But we do know if we play our game, we shouldn't worry about anybody. And that's the confidence that we have. And even if they beat us twice, you know, I'm not going to sit back and go back over the losses and see what the reasons were. You know, either we were not at full strength, we didn't have Brian Williams, or we didn't play our type of basketball. It happened. Our job now is to make sure it doesn't happen now.
The Eastern Conference Finals opening game is moments away. As we go to break, some more thoughts from Michael Jordan on this year's MVP. Is the air upset?
I don't know. I'm very happy for Carl. I think he's very deserving of it. I'm not going to discredit what he's done for his team. And you know, when you look at his consistency, which is, I think, separates he and myself from a lot of other players, is consistently we've done our jobs, you know, on our respective teams. And as much as I was probably deserving, he's probably just as deserving as I am. So, you know, I'm very happy for what he's done, and look forward to challenging him again next year. You know, it's good to have that type of rivalry between two old players who've been around for so long, and you know, I don't have a problem losing out to someone like Karl Malone.
And don't forget, after tonight's game, we'll have our British Airways Michael Jordan Insight. Lou. All right, thank you very much. Turning over a number of turnovers and the 32 points. Hey, Jordan is inside. He got some treatment from trainer Chip Schaefer. And who was that did that?
It was Scotty. It was Scotty.